Hello, hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. We are live on Facebook, live on Instagram. And today we're going to speak about why you procrastinate your yoga teacher tasks. Now, if you're not a yoga teacher yet, this chat will still be valid because really we're going to speak about the reasons why we procrastinate. Hi, Alessandra, how are you? Nice to see you. So let me just quickly share the link in our Facebook group. Husseini Bad Boy, how are you? Thank you for joining. Okay, so live on Facebook, live in the group, live on Instagram. Let me just quickly see if this is actually working here. One moment. How are you doing today? Give me a heads up. What's happening? Hello, Marta. Nice to see you too. All right. So, like I said, we're live in the group, live on the Facebook page, and live on Instagram. And today we're going to speak about why you procrastinate your yoga teacher tasks. Now, I already mentioned if you're not a yoga teacher, this chat is still valid because procrastination happens for many different reasons, but our underlying reasons or the fears that they come from are very similar. So if you're not a yoga teacher, keep listening if you're interested in this topic, because we're going to discover why. And because the reason why we are here is that in our community, many teachers complain that they keep procrastinating their task. So this could be writing a yoga sequence. This could be promoting your yoga classes. This could be getting in touch with other teachers, schools, or studios that you would like to work with. Anything that comes up that seems a little bit like an obstacle or something that you don't feel like doing because it's boring or it seems like a lot of work. And these are very common thoughts, very common obstacles that many yoga teachers experience. But if you're doing another job, I'm sure that you can recognize yourself in these as well. And we don't just procrastinate because things are difficult or boring or because we don't have the time for it. There's always a deeper reason why. So I like to call this, as we speak in yoga very often, about the root. So in this case, the root problem. And we're going to investigate that. But before I dive in why and how and maybe the reason that you are procrastinating for, I want you to know that on the 1st of September, so in a month from now, I'll be hosting a free webinar to analyze what type of procrastinator you are, to understand your personal reason why, to discover the underlying fears, and how to use your yoga teacher toolbox to overcome procrastination or imposter syndrome, so that you can enjoy all the tasks that you need to do and all the tasks that are being required from you to do as a modern yoga teacher. So if you would like to join this webinar, I have added the link in the bio on Instagram, and I have added the link into the description of Facebook, so you can sign up there. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to send me a message. And it's on the 1st of September. So mark your diary, put it in your diary already. But today, why do you postpone your yoga teacher task? Why do you procrastinate? Now, as I said at the start of this chat, the job of a yoga teacher is very diverse. There are many different things going on. So it's likely that you put a lot of thought into the preparation of your classes, such as writing the sequences, writing your scripts, creating a playlist, collecting mantras or quotes and affirmations, to really make your classes meaningful. And it's important that we do that because we deliver an experience to our students so that they can explore their body and mind in a way that we maybe already have and still do, to really share this practice. But that's not where it stops, because there's way more than just the yoga classes. There's more to it than just the yoga classes. There is all the online presence or in-person presence, the connections that we have to keep with our students. So this could be social media, but this could also be sending emails to these people. Informing your students when and where your classes are, where they can find you. You probably have to do some bookkeeping. You probably send out emails about news that's popping up in your yoga services. You have to entertain people online on social media, such as on Instagram or on Facebook. And there's just a lot to do. Apart from this, you're probably also spending time on continuing education, or at least you're thinking about how to do these things and how to keep up with all the tasks that are required from you as a yoga teacher. So the reason why you procrastinate very often is because you feel overwhelmed, you don't really know where to start, and it's just a lot to actually put into place, and you find it challenging to put it all in your schedule. So one of the biggest reasons often is described as fear. But there is more to it. Like I said, there's a root problem. It's not just fear, it's not just time. There's always a fear. So before we analyze your fear, I'm going to speak about what procrastination really is. But I want to hear it from you too. So what do you think procrastination really is? And in the meantime, I'm just going to check in the group. If you're watching, let us know in the comments so we know that you're here. What is procrastination really? What does this mean? So procrastination often is described as having the intention of doing something, yet you postpone completing it. So postponing the tasks or the goals, the aims, maybe wishes or achievements that you want to achieve at some point. Because I said at the start, it might be that you think you don't have time for it, but it might also be that you overthink it and overcomplicate it. It could be very good, Marta, low self-esteem, very good. It could be low self-esteem, but it could be a fear or resistance, a lack of understanding of what procrastination really is. Because understanding what procrastination is will take off the pressure of having to do things by a certain time, of having to do things in a certain order, or having to do things in a way that other people are doing this, because we often think there is only one way of doing it. Now, understanding what procrastination is also takes away a lot of stress, because procrastinating things, postponing things, or delaying things obviously puts a lot of stress in your daily life, because this to-do list keeps going there. Now, people that procrastinate, and this has come up in the community quite a bit, people that do procrastinate often refer to this as imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is an emotional circumstance in which you believe that the achievements you have had in the past, or the achievements that you would like to obtain in the future, are not real, or that you don't deserve them, or that you're not good enough for them to either achieve in the future, or that you didn't actually achieve it in the past because maybe you received help, or maybe it wasn't the way that you had thought it would have been. There's a lot of conditionals in this sentence, but very often it's because we underestimate our own abilities, our knowledge, our skills, and think that we're not worthy enough. So you either believe that you're not capable of achieving it, or you believe that in the past you weren't worthy enough to actually haven't achieved that. Or you're not capable of achieving what others expect from you. So this is going with the idea of having to do things in a certain order because this is what other people expect from you. So it might be, or it might feel as if you're not experienced, knowledgeable, or skillful enough to have been or be responsible for success. If you're watching, whether it is right now or the replay, in the comments, let me know if you do feel identified with this. Is this something that you struggle from or struggle with? Is this something that comes up in your mind or in your life? Do you feel you procrastinate more than you would like to? Or do you think that you suffer from imposter syndrome? Is any of these things true for you? Any of these things true for you? In the meantime, I'm going to explain one really important thing, because in our society, procrastination and postponing things, delaying things, putting things off often gets labeled or gets judged as something negative. But procrastination also has positive qualities. It isn't always a bad thing. I'm going to give a yoga teacher example here, because it might be that you want to organize a workshop for moms. And it might be your first time. You don't really know how to start or where to start, how to organize it and how to organize yourself. But you know that you need to make it happen at some point because you already have a date. There is a date. Now, in this example, the yoga workshop for moms, it might be that you delay all the important tasks and decisions. So the foundational decisions are essential decisions to make this workshop happen, such as securing venue deposits or confirming the actual date by paying your deposit, such as let me think. What are other foundational things that you need to include? Basically, all the big things that seem like a very big responsibility and actually make your commitment real. So it might feel that you're not ready to do this, and that's why you delay. And it's likely that in this case, your brain prefers to do things that are smaller. And often these things are the details that you can change later. Things like playing with the flyer designs. So we go on Canva or whatever software you use, and you just design your flyers and all the nice worksheets and images that you want to post on your social media. But these are details. It could be that you think about all the essential oils that you're going to bring, or about the workshop activities that you're going to present and include in your workshop. So these little details, the things that are important, well, these things are important, but they are not a priority right now. So they do need to be thought of, and they do need to be thought of properly at some point, because they are very important for a successful workshop, but they might not be the essential things that we want to think of when we first start organizing. The reason that I'm saying this, or the reason I'm giving this example, is that procrastination in this sense is good, because you don't overthink the smaller things. Excuse me, because you overthink the smaller things ahead of time, which means that you don't forget them or leave them until the last minute, because that's another thing that happens if we procrastinate. Everything until the last minute, when we realize the workshop is tomorrow and we haven't organized anything yet. So this type of procrastination or postponing could help you to build on your ideas and to allow yourself to become more creative and consider new options and aims and designs, and to help you connect with the audience, which in this case are mums, and really think through the details that they would like and that are truly beneficial for them. Because in the end, the details do matter. The details are, these little details could be a big brainstorming event for yourself, because these details are the things that people notice when they come to your workshop and will leave a good impression for them to come back next time, or for them to refer you to other teachers, to other students or other moms next time. So they are important, but they are not necessary at this point of your organization. So procrastination or postponing isn't always a bad thing. Um, it isn't always a bad thing, because it does help you to organize yourself better ahead of time. Does this make sense? Does all of this make sense? Let me quickly check again with the group. I see there's people watching. So if you have questions, please let me know. Write it in the comments. Also, if you're watching this after, don't be shy. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. Now, we know the process of procrastination. There are obviously a lot of cons of procrastination, and we already spoke about them a little bit. So when we procrastinate, we often overthink. And when you postpone and delay your things long term, this has become a habit, or this has become part of your identity, or we think this is part of our identity. We speak about chronic procrastination. So chronic procrastination often happens due to lack of confidence, lack of clarity, or maybe any type of fear. And I'm going to speak about these fears very specifically in the webinar. So if you are interested in how to overcome procrastination, and especially how to overcome procrastination by using your yoga teacher toolbox, the webinar is free. And you can sign up for it in the link in the bio on Instagram and in the description on Facebook. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, because it will be on the podcast later, you can sign up through the link in the description of the episode. So this is about fears. But chronic procrastination often happens due to lack of confidence, lack of clarity, or any of the types of fears that I'm going to speak about in the webinar. I don't think it's a surprise when you hear that procrastination often can cause stress, anxiety, or fear, stress, anxiety, and fatigue. That it often causes feelings or symptoms as feeling stuck, or feeling trapped, or feeling caught in a pattern. And it will definitely not surprise you that it limits your growth and your potential, and it has a really negative effect on the way that you perceive yourself, on your self-worth, and on your well-being and productivity as a yoga teacher. So this chronic procrastination could be a sign of something more serious, such as depression or ADD or ADHD or anxiety. But it's very easy just to label it and tell yourself, well, I'm procrastinating. This is part of my identity, part of who I am right now. I believe that for most of us, it is a reaction, an emotional reaction to something that we don't feel ready to do. So it's based on fear, based on what Marta said, low self-esteem or lack of confidence. So in this case, the moment that you don't feel ready to do something, it could be that the idea of performing something or carrying out a task is so unpleasant that you would rather sabotage yourself or sabotage the situation, because you feel that you don't have the ability to do this, or you can't find the willingness to confront this obstacle or this struggle. And And obviously, the longer we're in this, the longer we postpone, the worse we feel about ourselves, and the longer it actually takes to accomplish our goals and our yoga teaching dreams. So it really stops you from being who you are and who you could be. So I have spoken to about this with a lot of people that are in the community recently. If you feel that this is you, hang on, because we're going to speak about how you can overcome this by a very quick and simple trick that we're going to do at the end of this training. But also, really, I advise to sign up for the webinar, because this is the only way you will learn how to use your yoga teacher toolbox to actually overcome this. Now, let's have a look at the reason why, as a yoga teacher specifically, you postpone your tasks. Why, as a yoga teacher, you postpone your tasks? Excuse me, I have to drink some tea. Got something stuck in my throat. So why, as a yoga teacher, do you postpone your task? So being an all-round yoga teacher is a very diverse job. I explained this at the start of the chat. And I dare to say that being a teacher requires a lot more than you had imagined when you obtained your yoga teacher certificate. There's a lot more to it than you can imagine at the start. So it could be that you are already working another job, and this job takes up so much of your time that you feel you don't have enough time to also teach, or to teach as much as you would like to. It could be that you're teaching so many yoga classes at this time that you don't have time for the other things that you need to do, such as the bookkeeping, promoting your classes, or staying in touch with your students through social media and email. And on top of this, over the years, with technology and online yoga becoming more and more popular, the market and the way we communicate and promote our classes has changed a lot more than probably we have learned in our yoga teacher training, if at all, because many of these trainings don't actually prepare you for the full all-round diverse job this entails. So these responsibilities have changed due to probably COVID-19, but even before that. And staying up to date to all of these changes, or with all of these changes, can feel really overwhelming. So I'm going to give you 3 statements, and I want to know if you feel identified with one of these, or if you do recognize yourself in one of them. So number 1, I feel stuck, lost, or I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to continue. So I feel stuck, lost, or I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to continue. Number 2, I don't know where, or I don't know how to start. Number 2, I don't know where, or I don't know how to start. And number 3, I don't have the time, or excuse me, I don't have the time, or I don't know, Jesus, I'm sorry, or I have too much on my plate. So I don't have the time, or I have too much on my plate. Because these 3 statements are very, very, very common thoughts and beliefs among procrastinators. Whether you're a yoga teacher or you do any other type of job, these are very common. So do you feel identified with any of these 3 statements? Is this something that comes up for you when you postpone or delay your tasks? Does this come up for you? Because I believe that when you're in the middle of it, when you do feel overwhelmed, when you suffer from a type of fear, or when there is a lot on your plate and you don't really know how to continue anymore, it feels really real. This is a real event or a real happening in your life right now, and it's actually very challenging to see through that. So these thoughts and these feelings might feel true to you at that time, but I also believe that as a yoga teacher, you know that there is always more to it. And I already mentioned it at the start, there's always a deeper problem, and you hopefully remember what it is because it's the root problem. So the root problem of procrastination comes down to, Marta, down to self-doubt, lack of confidence, unrealistic goals, and lack of clarity. But the good news is that you don't need to gain self-confidence before you can continue with your plans. So here is the exercise. I'm going to take you through an exercise so you can take the first step into learning how to beat procrastination so that you can finally keep doing the things or finally do the things that you have been postponing and grow self-confidence by doing it. Remember that if you want to get more and deeper into this, the webinar Overcoming Procrastination by Using Your Yoga Teacher Toolbox is on the 1st of September. And I will speak about productivity for yoga teachers and help you reduce procrastination by learning how to trust yourself and improve confidence, right? So you will learn what type of procrastinator you are, understand your personal reason why, discover the underlying fears, and learn how to use your yoga teacher toolbox to overcome procrastination. But today, giving you this exercise for introspection and practice Svadhyaya. So you know, yoga teachers, Svadhyaya is self-study, and we're going to reflect and we're going to meditate on the root problem. So grab a pen, grab some paper, sit down and write the following questions down with me. Or if you like, you're listening to the podcast, take a screenshot so you can refer back to them when you have a moment to sit down and actually reflect on these questions. So take a screenshot or grab pen and paper right now and we're going through them. So question number 1. In your yoga teaching career, what do you actually delay or postpone? In your yoga teaching career, what do you actually delay or postpone? Is this writing a sequence, or starting your online yoga business, or filming yoga classes for YouTube? What is it that you really actually delay or postpone? Question 2. When you write these things down, listen to your emotions. When you think about the thing that you're neglecting or that you're postponing, what do you feel? So when you think about the thing that you neglect or postpone, what do you really feel? Is this a fear of failure? Do you feel useless or unprepared? Do you feel bored or you feel like you can't be bothered? What do you actually feel? Then number 3, examine and write down the root of these thoughts and the emotions. So examine and write down the root of these thoughts and the emotions. So I feel scared that others are better than me, or I don't have the skills or knowledge, or I can't be bothered because my goals are unrealistic. Make that these statements, the answers to these questions, are true for you. Whatever I'm saying are examples that you can use to maybe go a little bit deeper for yourself. But really listen to your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own emotions. So question 3 was, examine and write down the roots of these thoughts and emotions. And number 4, look at the answers of question 3 and turn your reasons of procrastination into the opposite of your problem. So turn the reasons for procrastination into the opposite of your problem. So if your reason is, I'm afraid I don't have the skills or the knowledge, make an effort. Pick up your studies, do research, and obtain the skills and the knowledge you need. Because you can't wait for one day to magically have all your worries and your struggles and your obstacles disappear. That's unrealistic. If you really want to overcome something, or if you really want to achieve something, you will have to put in the work. No one is going to do it for you. I'm giving you a little bit of a kick of the butt, but you really, if you want something in life, like obtaining your yoga teaching certificate or learning English or learning how to teach yoga in English, you will have to put in the work. The same if you want to overcome postponing and procrastinating. All right. Another example is that my goals are unrealistic. What could you do to have more realistic goals? What could you realistically do? My idea is to set smaller goals, make a step-by-step plan, because you're not in a rush. Your goals and achievements are going to happen one day or another, but we have to have smaller goals, smaller steps, and maybe a few deadlines to work towards. But take it easy on yourself. You're not in a rush. You can only do it at your own pace. Okay, so question 4 was, look at the answers of question 3 and turn your reasons for procrastination into the opposite of your problem. So turning all the things that seem impossible into something possible. Now, 2 extra things to make it work, because we do need to make it work. We need to actually put in the work. One thing is be realistic and decide on how much time you really need to get through your tasks, your goals, and your to-do list. Then plan it in your diary and stick to your plan. Turn off all distractions and take your procrastination seriously. Because the more you actually follow up on your plans and do the things you need to do, the more you will learn to trust yourself. So the more you actually follow up on your plans and do the things that you need to do, the more you will learn to trust yourself. And when you finish your tasks, celebrate it. Treat yourself with a little win. This doesn't only make you feel better about the achievements that you make, but it also helps your mind to see what you're capable of. So you allow yourself to be rewarded for your efforts. It's like when you train a dog and you give it a biscuit or a cookie every time it does something right? This is something we see very often. You can train yourself with little rewards afterwards too. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be taking a bath or going to a yin class with your favorite teacher. Anything that feels good for you, okay? So the steps here. Number 1, in your yoga teaching career, what do you really delay and what do you really postpone? Listen to your emotions and think of and really try to understand what you think and what you feel when you neglect and procrastinate. Then examine and write down the roots of these thoughts and these emotions, and turn these reasons for your procrastination into the opposite of your problem. Okay? Be realistic. Be really realistic. Think of the time that you actually have available to do these things. Take it easy on yourself and celebrate your little successes. Treat yourself with a little win. Okay? So, if you are interested in more and you would like to dive deeper, understand what type of procrastination you suffer from, and understand your deeper reasons why, your underlying fears, and find out how to make use of your yoga teacher toolbox to overcome procrastination, sign up for the webinar. The webinar is free. It's on the 1st of September. And we're going to dive really, 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 really deep. If you have any questions, you're watching and you have any questions, don't be shy. Send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, or per email. I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you're watching on Instagram and you're listening to the podcast and you're not a member of the Teach Yoga and English support group on Facebook, I highly recommend you come and join us. We have over 200 members. We just celebrated our 200 members party together. So come and join us there. And I hope to see you all very, very soon again. Have a great weekend and sending you lots of love. See you later.